Hi, I'm Hugh Halpern, Director of the United States Government Publishing Office. There's lots happening at GPO these days, and I want to share some of our most significant developments with you today. First, a little background about GPO. GPO is the nation's publisher of government information, printing and publishing information from all three branches of government. We employ nearly 1,600 craftspeople and professionals, including everyone from artisanal bookbinders to librarians to cutting-edge web developers. Unlike most government agencies, GPO operates as a business. We provide services for our customers and bill them for the work we provide. GPO is expected to collect more than $1 billion in revenue in the coming fiscal year. GPO produces some of the most recognizable products in the nation, such as the Congressional Record, the Federal Register, congressional legislation, the President's budget, and the world's most advanced and secure identity document, the United States passport. GPO has been producing these items at its Washington, D.C. headquarters since 1861. Today, we have another facility for passport production in Mississippi and 2 distribution centers in Maryland and Colorado. Perhaps our most important distribution point is GovInfo, currently the world's only ISO-certified trusted digital repository. GPO adds thousands of new documents to GovInfo each week and recently celebrated the 9 billionth retrieval from its online offerings. We're working hard to ensure that documents are available in as many formats as possible, including PDF to maintain fidelity with print documents, as well as new machine-readable formats optimized for the web and other new applications. I'll have a little more to say about that in a moment. I talk a lot about the fact that we're at an inflection point, particularly when it comes to publishing the work of Congress. I describe it as 3 legs of a stool. First, GPO is upgrading its press technology. Second, GPO is in the midst of upgrading the software stack that powers the printing of congressional documents. And third, Congress seems open to looking at long-standing traditions, including the design of its documents. Let's talk about each of those. About 3 years ago, GPO began its transition to digital inkjet press technology. These digital presses aren't all that different from the inkjet printer on your desk, other than that they're the size of a panel van and capable of printing thousands of pages per minute. These presses are replacing old, obsolete equipment based on traditional offset printing technology. While offset presses give you great print quality, they are expensive to operate and generate a lot of waste. They also limit your options. Color becomes cost prohibitive, and you have to maximize the number of pages that can fit on an offset aluminum plate so you can keep costs down. Digital inkjet technology frees us from those constraints. Color printing is just as easy as black and white, and we can handle documents on just about any size paper, so we're no longer tied to weird document sizes just to keep costs down. And when coupled with modern binding equipment, we can create finished documents in a fraction of the time that we used to. We're already seeing huge improvements in efficiency and lower costs after deploying this modern technology. And we're able to deliver products on regular size paper in full color, just like our customers are asking for. But that's only part of the story. For more than 40 years, GPO has built the software that enables Congress to print its official documents. Unfortunately, that same software, developed when I was in grade school, is still in use today. This system uses GPO's proprietary typesetting language and is hard to use, particularly as documents get more complicated with tables and images. It doesn't support color printing at all. It's also impenetrable for most content creators. That leads to a workflow that has congressional content creators, attorneys or policy specialists, either having to learn GPO's typesetting system or work in the editor of their choice, usually Microsoft Word or a customized XML editor, and have GPO hand key the formatting information. That's not efficient, and as good as our team at GPO is, we don't always capture the author's intent. We've needed something better for some time, and I'm pleased to tell you that we'll soon be deploying our new solution to our congressional customers. We call it XPub. In the 1990s, Congress began its shift to working in its own XML implementation, known today as USLM, for United States Legislative Markup. This machine-readable format is compatible with similar international standards and delivers a host of improvements to everyone using legislative content. XPub fundamentally changes the workflow, composing press-ready PDFs and enabling responsive web displays directly from the XML, rather than translating that code into GPO's typesetting language first, as happens today. While that gives us better fidelity, lower error rates, and a more flexible environment for our content-creating customers, it's also going to yield real benefits for the public as well. Nowhere is this clearer than what you get today when you ask for the plain text display of legislation or a committee report. It's truly terrible. And I apologize for all of us involved in this process, because whoever thought this was a usable format should have thought about it again. As hard as it is to repurpose the text in a PDF, it's just about as hard with our current plain text display. There are hard returns, strange characters, and other issues that make using that text in other applications far more difficult than it should be. One of the first changes that the public will see from XPub is a far better text display for our legislative documents. Documents created with XPub will have a fully responsive HTML display. You'll be able to work with that text just like any other normal document. That means it will be easier to compare versions, show changes, and use the document for other content development. I'm pleased to say that XPub has reached the point where it's available to our customers to start their own testing with their systems. We expect that our customers will deploy XPub for bills, resolutions, and amendments in the first half of 2023. Other products will follow in the months and years to come. If you want a preview of some XPub output, there are samples available on GPO's GitHub repository for you to look at and try. The last element is Congress's willingness to examine its own practices. The House Select Committee on the Modernization of Congress has made a lot of recommendations on how to improve Congress's operations. This signals our nation's legislature's willingness to re-examine some of their most basic practices. In my testimony over the last few years, I have advocated for a new design language for congressional documents in light of new technology that will let us produce bills, reports, and other documents that convey more information, are easier to consume, and are attractive to read. Some much older legislatures have already done much of this work. Look no further than the UK Parliament and the work they've done over the last few decades to make their documents more accessible. I'm more confident than I've ever been that the congressional documents of the future will be inviting and deliver more information than ever before. By using machine-readable formats as a base, we can enable applications that we haven't thought of yet. And perhaps, most importantly, because XPub is far more flexible, the attorneys and policy professionals that work for Congress can create content in the environment where they're most comfortable, while leaving those of us at GPO to worry about output formats. Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity to tell you what we're up to at GPO, and I can't wait to update you again in the future.